Hey everybody, Cream Crazy here, ready for the return of the, well, I can't say iconic, I can't say huge either. I'll just say popular just for the hell of it, because ladies and gentlemen, today, Wednesday the 18th of January, a week late, but still, it is the return of In the News! And it is, of course, if you do not know what this is my weekly wrestling news roundup. Ha! I actually managed to make that line work. And you know what? This week, compared to last week in terms of news, not as much. But I still have got a lot here. So let's hope you will either enjoy this or haven't heard any of these stories and go, ooh, that's interesting. Because that's what I do these in the news videos for. That's what I did used to do them for. Before they obviously served no legitimate purpose. So there's only, what, about 3 news stories in a whole week or something. It does vary from week to week, so I would advise, don't hope that I have a huge amount every single week, because it's going to be very unlikely. Although I do have 5 sites to find info on. So let's hope to God it's worth something. Today I have how many? 15. Not as much as the 20 I had last week, and not all of them are going to be as big as the other. So we'll see how this goes, because I think you lot will be able to judge what you believe is bigger than the other, etc. Right, let's kick this off with what was I think the biggest news story of the week, which is why I'm mentioning it first. Was what happened on Monday, which was the fact that finding out that Evan Bourne has been suspended after a second wellness policy violation. He will serve a 60-day suspension, which started yesterday. Now, poor guy, because the fact is, knowing last week, he apparently went to McMahon to apologise for his previous suspension. Honestly, it makes me laugh how he can say to Triple H he's sorry for what happened, no hard feelings, and yet he gets suspended again. It shows in a way that some people really can't be trusted. I mean, at least R-Truth has turned face, at least doing something relevant in some way, and you've got Bourne not really doing much apart from being a former tag champion. This does explain how they lost the titles at the house show. This does explain, in a way, how they're written off TV easily. I mean, this is probably how they should have done it the first time he was suspended, but that's just me. I feel this will bury him. Everyone's been saying this. It will bury Bourne down. Because Chris Masters got the cold shoulder when he got done the second time. Well, I think he either left or he came back and got suspended a second time. Either way, it didn't do too well for him. Seeing Kara's only got 1, he got a small push to reassert himself. But that's all you get for a first strike. Second strike, you're on fucking thin ice. And then you get fuck all. You get released, don't you? And I fear Triple H's feelings about Evan Bourne are a bit shaky. That he can obviously be what? Not as he doesn't think he's got much to offer, and he does have something to offer. It's just that the fact is he's letting these personal issues with drugs get in the way. And if the minute he gets it sorted out, should be fine for him. I mean, he's got enough charisma, enough varied moveset and popularity to make it back. Let's just hope the WWE give him the chance to prove he is off. Whatever it is, probably synthetic weed. I have no clue at this point, but it probably is, knowing last time. Let's just hope he can do what he has to do. And now, guys, I'm going to do probably what will come up a lot in the lead up to WrestleMania, a shitload of Hall of Fame news, because the road to WrestleMania has now had the tarmac laid. We're ready to start driving on that thing. And I bet you know we are, because it's nearly Royal Rumble time. I've done my reset exam, so I'm not on cloud 9, but I'm thinking now I can't wait till 29th of January for the Rumble. Anyway, let's go on with the Hall of Fame news. That's what I'm really now going to go on about. First, according to JR, Mike Tyson will eventually make it into the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. He was asked on Twitter if it would ever happen, responding, Absolutely. Tyson was involved in one of the most important angles of the Attitude Era, leading to the rise of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I agree with that 100%. Because Mike Tyson, if I have said this before, like defining a legend and the celebrity inductees, you can only induct a celebrity inductee, in my opinion, if they've done something of worth. Which celebrity inductees have done something of worth in the WWE? None. That off the top of my head, I look at them and go, they've done fuck all. Mike Tyson, on the other hand, the fact Drew Carey is in there before this guy is a fucking insult. Mike Tyson made more of an impact in 2 months than Drew Carey made in 1 night. Which makes me beg the question, why the fuck the guy was in there? Mike Tyson defined the start of the most financially successful time in the World Wrestling Federation / World Wrestling Entertainment's history. Drew Carey probably bolstered his own television audience by a couple of mil. That's about it. The difference is very significant. He will make it in there someday. I mean, sure, WWE may have put off the induction due to the reception from the press they would get for inducting Mike Tyson, but fuck it, he deserves it more than most people. Speaking of celebrity inductees, Joey the King Lawler has also stated that the late comedian Andy Kaufman should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame someday. In an interview with the Miami Herald, Lawler stated that the match I had with him and that whole scenario, I think, opened the door and changed the face of wrestling to become what it is today. Every time you look around, Hollywood stars want to be on Raw or involved in the WWE. I think it started with Andy Kaufman. I really think he deserves to be in there. And if it's Kaufman... See, I can't even pronounce it. Tell me how to if you can in the comment section. It's Kaufman, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. But I agree again, 100% with Jerry, because the first real case of a celebrity getting completely involved to the point where they had a brawl on Letterman. It doesn't... People say you can get mainstream in wrestling in the Attitude Era. You can get mainstream now. You had a comedian, a famous comedian in some respects, beating up and having a fight with Joey the King Lawler, one of the most successful of all time, on David Letterman. That's the fucking crown jewel. And I have to admit, I agree with this because it's true. Where all these celebrities come in, the showbiz side, without Andy Kaufman, we would not have seen the Rock and Wrestling Connection. You know? We would not have seen Mike Tyson, Chuck Norris, Leslie Nielsen in the 90s. We wouldn't have seen Shaq O'Neal, Floyd Mayweather, those people. It would never have fucking happened. And to be honest, hell, even Mr. T, I know it's with the Rock and Wrestling Connection, but fuck it, he deserves his own mention. It would never have happened if it wasn't for Kaufman, and I think, to be perfectly honest, the fact this guy is not in the WWE Hall of Fame just for that is a complete disgrace. Like, even more so than what Mike Tyson, because you look at the significance now of Kaufman's attitude and things, and how it all went down. Fuck it, listen to Man on the Moon by R.E.M. and it'll state everything that it mentions Fred Blassie and all the stuff that went on. Makes perfect sense to put Andy Kaufman in the Hall of Fame. Do it. The celebrity ring needs legitimacy. And if you haven't got legitimacy, it ain't worth shit. Now we got onto the real Hall of Fame inductee news. Ric Flair will be making it to the WWE Hall of Fame to accept the Four Horsemen's induction. However, there is one slight little problem with that. He will not be able to speak for very long because the speech for the induction of all of the guys involved with this, Anderson, Dillon, and Tully Blanchard, will only last for 7 minutes. Especially noting that Flair's sole induction speech in 2008 lasted for over an hour. And I watched that speech. Phew, great viewing, actually. But I will have to disagree with on this, because I would love hearing the Hall of Famers go on about their career, some great road stories, some great... You listen to Bret Hart's one. That is beautifully well made. It's fantastic, fantastic speech. And the fact is, you can't. I was hoping that these length restrictions started in 2009 when Stone Cold was inducted, and I wanted to hear Stone Cold go on, but that didn't happen. So, it's the one thing you should do is that when you go to a Hall of Fame ceremony, you want to be entertained by something. You want to go there and not just have a little award thing, so yeah, thank you very much, I'm gone now. You don't want to see that. You don't want to make it become like an Oscar. Make it something special. If you get the WrestleMania Access package, you get this. Because, in all fairness, you imagine just putting it out as it is, fully in one whole night, no interruptions, and then for the DVD or the TV showing, cut it down and show the best highlights of it. Isn't that too much to ask? Is that really too much to want and pine for? Hopefully not, but we'll see. I mean, I think because Flair can go on forever, because obviously he's still stuck in that time. He's still stuck inside the 80s. It still hasn't been, it's been nearly 30 years for us, but it's hasn't gone away for him, so he'd probably still go on about how great he is, but we'll have to wait and see. The former Four Horsemen member, Ollie Anderson, Arn Anderson's brother and tag team partner, I believe, has responded to comments that he was snubbed in the induction to the legendary faction by simply saying these very immortal words, which, to be honest, for some are better, never ever going to be said any better. Vince McMahon hates my guts, I don't like him. So that's all there is to it. I don't even need to go on about that, because if Mr. McMahon hates you, you are not going to go anywhere near his Hall of Fame. Randy Savage, I'm thinking, maybe? Maybe not. We'll have to wait and see, because I got a news article about that coming up. In other Horseman Hall of Fame news, there's a lot of it. This is the last of it, though, just to quickly point that out. WrestleZone.com has unveiled new details on why Lex Luger wasn't to be inducted alongside the rest of the group. Well, sans Ollie Anderson, obviously, because he isn't going to get it. Apparently, this stems back to his relationship with Miss Elizabeth and her death in 2003. And if you don't know, she had a drug overdose and died. Well, and basically, he was with her at the time. It's all there in the history books, really. Just look on the internet, you'll find facts about it. When his name was discussed for induction, it was shot down because WWE saw him as a person whose drug problems enabled Miss Elizabeth to get in contact with the drugs prior to her passing, which to some would be seen as a publicity and PR nightmare, wouldn't it? You'd think that. And I bet the media would have loads of interest in trying to stem that up. Many people, and I think, to be honest, a lot of people did, think that this was all about Luger appearing on the first episode of Nitro in '95, leading to a souring. But it's connected with Miss Elizabeth, and that's the reason why Luger, at this moment in time, is out of consideration for the Hall of Fame. And that's a shame. That is an absolute shame. Because you can say with Luger he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but, you know, I don't know why something completely irrelevant should stop him from getting in the Hall of Fame for what he's done. To be honest, that is a real shame. That is absolutely stupid. I think you should really just look at that. They're not even putting a guy who's won the Royal Rumble, won WCW Championships, was the guy, of course, who body slammed Yokozuna. It's all there. Just, the guy's got a great resume. I mean, sure, he's had a lot of personal issues recently, but I think after all he's been through in the last couple of years, that would have been a real bit of a cheer up for him, wouldn't it? All his physical ailments. It'll be great for him to get a Hall of Fame induction, and that's just sad that it's been taken away from a very deserving inductee. Randy Savage's brother Lanny Poffo has stated on a radio show that WWE haven't contacted the Poffo family in regards to Savage's induction into the Hall of Fame even after his death. That's you guys. That's your face. That's your face. Haha. Poffo also stated that despite his good relationship with WWE, that they didn't even contact him after Savage's death. Now, I find that bit weird. It's hard to really understand why that's the case. Because they went out, gave him a great video package. Vince McMahon paid his condolences on tape and in written form. And also, he's in WWE 12 as well. So I'm thinking, this should have enshrined a Hall of Fame induction. Surely, this should have done it. But why it hasn't is beyond me. I think people are saying it's a crime that he's not in. It's a crime that he's not in yet, and he hasn't been in. But the fact is, that's just life. Some inductees either get pushed back a couple of years, some for other issues, alleluia, but it's just how it is. When he finally gets inducted, it'll be a big ceremony of pomp and circumstance. See what I did there? And honestly, people have got to stop going on about how much of a travesty. To me, it's a travesty that Bulldog isn't in the Hall of Fame, that Yokozuna isn't in the Hall of Fame, that, fuck it, Owen Hart isn't in the Hall of Fame. They're the people. No, sorry, it's a bit late here. Those are the people who deserve to also go in the Hall of Fame but aren't. And people only focus on how great... I know Macho Man had a fucking record to boast. He had the record. He was able to say, okay, I've won the WWE title load, WCW title, NWO member. It's got a little championship match, one of the greatest in history. All on the resume. Hell, Macho King. Even the advertisements with Slim Jim. It's all there. That's the resume you will kill for. But the thing is, it will come eventually. Just keep your fucking heads on. Don't keep crying over spilt milk, because it'll happen. Just give it some time. Seriously, people. People were complaining at one point why Mr. Perfect wasn't in the Hall of Fame. Now look where he is. In there. So, simple, really, isn't it? And that's all of the Hall of Fame news out of the way. And just bear with me, because my computer is about to run out of battery. I'm going to plug in my recharger. See you in a sec. Stupid fucking charger. Normally I have this damn thing plugged in, but... things happen, you see. Intermission over. Now we go on to the non-Hall of Fame news. It was reported last week that Cowboys Stadium would be hosting WrestleMania 30. Yeah, believe that before you start throwing crap my way. Or be rumoured to host 29. I almost said 19. 29 instead, which is next year. And people are saying it has to. It's one of the biggest stadiums in America, and McMahon would love to go for it. However, that is now no longer going to be the case, as the spokesman for the stadium has come out and said they won't be able to host it, because they're hosting the NCAA Regional Final in 2013 and the Final Four in 2014. Mania will have to go somewhere else, because for 2 years they are fully booked in the March-April's time sector. And thing is, there are two opinions why I feel about this. I'm going to get to those in a sec. Oh god, I did not feel good. Right, first opinion, this is a bad loss for WWE, because this stadium could hold over 100,000 people. 1,000? Fuck that. 100,000. That's magnificently huge. But on the plus side, I don't have to go down to Texas next year. Oh, yeah! Yeah, bring on New Jersey. Bring on New Jersey or New York or wherever the fuck it is. Because if it's in Texas, I'm not going anywhere near that. Well, I will eventually. If it is in Cowboy Stadium, I would not miss out for that in the ever likelihood that it would be. But as long as it's on the east side, I don't give a crap. WrestleMania 29, I hopefully will be there. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? And the thing is, I am quite upset that the stadium isn't going to be there, but fuck it. In other words, I'm happy. This is a personal story from David Otunga's personal life, that him and Jennifer Hudson are getting married after being engaged since 2008. Jennifer Hudson, the Oscar-winning actress and singer, revealed this blockbuster announcement, see what I did there, while appearing on Tonight with Jay Leno. She also mentioned, in, I think, incredible irony, that her and Otunga's son, David Otunga Jr., even at a very young age, has aspirations to be a wrestler and knows more of the moves than his dad. Now, at a very young age, I would say he probably is better than his dad at wrestling. Because I can. Because the guy, Otunga, you may be shit at wrestling. You may have a nice gimmick that's keeping you on the show. But I can never criticize how proud you must be feeling to finally marry the person you love the most, right? Congratulations, man. Well done. You're doing well for yourself. You're in WWE with a cushy job, good wife, got a kid. You're ready to go on for the rest of life knowing you're doing what you want to do. Good on you. And that's basically what I'm going to say, because to be honest, I actually mean it, that your son probably knows more about it knows more about moves and could actually out-wrestle you. But then again, you'll probably let him pin you for the first couple of years of his life and then get one over on him, wouldn't you? This news story came out yesterday, and I was a bit pessimistic about it. Was it yesterday or today? But this news story has me irking, because this is the first I've heard of it, and I'm not too happy about it. Well, I'm chuffed they've included this name in there, but still, not the same thing. I'm not feeling too happy about this. Actor Liam Neeson has come out and denied the rumour that he'd be portraying Vince McMahon in Crossface, the upcoming film documenting Chris Benoit's wrestling career and death. The Schindler's List and Taken star stated he has no interest in the role, as he barely knows McMahon, knows almost nothing about Benoit, and is not a fan of professional wrestling. The film, based off the book Ring of Hell, the story of Chris Benoit and the fall of the professional wrestling industry, will also contain portrayals of Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle, and Triple H, among unconfirmed others. Now, I bet you're all telling me you're going to watch that film, because you know how much of a Benoit fan I am, and how much the Benoit murder-suicide tragedy has actually affected me. I would go see that, because I like an informative film. I am a film studies student. The boxes are all ticked. Unfortunately, I will not be going to see this film when it gets released, because it'll bring back too much negativity. And you know me, for the Benoit stuff, I want to focus on the positives. I don't like focusing on the negatives of what happened in his last 3 days. But you know what? I'm going to stop going on about it, because I've got a video coming up in June on the 5th anniversary of this, talking about it. And it's the only time I'm probably ever going to bring it up in that way. The idea of making a film out of this is the facts. Even though a lot of theories have been put forward, there is no concrete proof yet. Even after 5 years, there is still nothing concrete to suggest what happened. And to make a book out of it is enough. To make a film out of said book is just ridiculous. I know that the press guy for this said they were going to document as much of the theories as we can to suggest what could have happened and leave it up into interpretation from the viewer. This is a documentary biography, almost. And they're going to focus on his wrestling career, but I keep thinking they're going to focus on the negativity, and that's nothing I want to view. But to be honest, on the plus side, I could have really seen Vince McMahon being portrayed by Liam Neeson. That, I can see why the rumour was cinched up, because they would seem like a match made in heaven, wouldn't they? It would be interesting. Actually, fuck it. I'd love to see a McMahon biopic. That I would pay money to see. Because then it would be very, very interesting, wouldn't it, ladies and gentlemen? It would, wouldn't it? And this is a news story that recently made my eyebrow go, ooh, interesting. Brittany Knight, an SCW diva, was told last week that she would most likely be held back in developmental territory for some time, as she is only 19 years old. Her mother, who is also a wrestler, under the ring... Sorry, my nose got blocked out there. Under the ring name of Sweet Soraya, mentioned that because she's the first 19-year-old girl from Europe to venture into FCW, they will fast-track her. She's from Europe? Now, I didn't know that. I then did some research on, first, Sweet Soraya, to find out who the hell she was, and then to find out more about this 19-year-old girl who has now stepped into FCW. And you know what I found really interesting? She comes from Norwich, which is 40 miles up the A12/A14 that way. Yep, you heard me right. Wow, a wrestler that actually comes from the area, at least in East Anglia. That, and he's actually made it into the biggest company of the lot. That is impressive. That is actually making me feel quite chuffed and interested about a diva. Fucking hell, when have I ever been that interested? Sometime around the early 2000s. But, I see what I did there. But nonetheless, that's great news. An East Anglian representing women in WWE. That is awesome. And you know what? I'm going to keep an eye on this kid, just to see how far she does get. If they do fast track her, she's got to be that damn good. Because if she isn't, that's a complete waste of mine and a lot of other people's time. CM Punk, of course, has been pulled from an FCW show when he would have been escorting Chael Sonnen. It was pulled by WWE officials, prominently Mr. McMahon. And we now know why that was the case. Vince was telling Punk he shouldn't be there. Punk got it cleared by WWE officials. Sonnen got it cleared with FCW, UFC. All seemed to be going well until it broke and became a news story. Yep, because the minute it was reported, McMahon pulled the plug and he wants to make sure it did not happen. And people have been ripping McMahon to shreds with this. Because any other time you see a chance to put your main guy, your champion, onto another show, a rival show, and showcase them, getting extra viewership, he would never miss that opportunity. Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon Jr., the money lover that we know so much, the man who cares more about ratings than I bet the safety of his own grandkids. We know that he would be interested in the money-making venture of this. The fact he didn't shows two things. One, he really doesn't like UFC, despite having negotiations with Lesnar and Dana White in the past. And second, he is not high on Punk representing the company, because he likes a completely clean figure, and that is John Cena. He would have rather seen John Cena do it, but he ain't the fucking champ. So, Vince, I think he got it wrong there. This is just my opinion. Other people may say otherwise. Comment section. But nonetheless, I think McMahon has done the wrong thing here, because that could have given the viewer boost that Vince McMahon sorely wants. Right? Yeah, you might have thought so. According to video game industry sources, THQ is rumoured on being on the verge of being put up for sale after cancelling a multitude of planned games for 2014. And I thought this was quite a decently compiled news story until I got told the company refuting the claims and stating them as false because the success of Saints Row the Third and WWE 12 have made sure that they can continue to make more games. I have to say, THQ have done a great job with WWE 12. It would have been sad to lose them at this point in the juncture, but I'm telling you now, there's actually no game studio that comes to my mind that really could do WWE games with as much finesse, fan interaction, and glitches like THQ can. So, I'll leave that for you to really mull over. WWE Hall of Famer Mean Gene Okerlund has confirmed he will be in the WWE Network's Legend House program. Yes! He does, however, have some reservations towards the program, stating, because we're talking about putting senior citizens, in the case of some of these legends, on television, which he believes he isn't a part of. And I can entirely see where he's coming from here. I mean, sure, at the moment, Roddy Piper, Iron Sheik, and even though he said no, Dusty Rhodes is apparently confirmed as well. They are all great people. They are all great mic workers. They are all great talkers. I will have to say, Iron Sheik at times can be seen to be a little senile. Well, that's just because he goes off on ridiculous rants, which will probably have to make the Legends House program not PG, because he's going to go off on a complete tangent and may ruin the program. But it's good to see Mean Gene there. Because actually, when you saw the opening thing for the Legends House adverts vignette, you see outside the door, there's "It's Mean Gene" at the start of that, and you think, yeah, I thought immediately when I saw that, yeah, he's in it, and I think the Mean Gene in there will be completely awesome in there. I don't know who else they would add though, because I think when he means with senior citizens is broken down wrestlers basically. You could basically almost call it a retirement home for wrestlers, which is a bit sad when you think about it being a TV program, but fuck it. It's what McMahon wants to make TV out of it. It's an interesting concept. I'd be willing to watch it. Seriously, I would be willing to watch Legends House. And the fact is, to be honest, I would have rather seen someone like Hulk Hogan do I'm a Celebrity. Actually, I can imagine him doing that. He'd fucking cack himself. And finally, the last piece of news, which I love this piece of news for a multitude of reasons. Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan's wrestling promotion, Resistance Pro, which he is the creative director for, has crowned its first heavyweight champion. And I thought, ooh, I wonder who that could be, because I have no idea what's going on with this. And you'd expect me, a very big Smashing Pumpkins fan, to keep an eye on it. That's why I brought this news story up. Former WWE Tag Team Champion David Hart Smith has won a triple threat match against ROH talent Kevin Steen and the Almighty Sheik to make history and become their first major singles champion. You know what? That makes me want to check this out. Not gonna lie, because it's Billy Corgan, that immediately turns a light switch on and goes, yes, I need to know. Now I know that the British Bulldog's son has been in a match with Kevin Steen. Somebody give me a link to this. Somebody give me a streaming link to this. I want to watch this now. This to me combines one of my favourite musicians with an upcoming wrestler who I did rate quite a bit, and a guy who Ring of Honor and I know is one of the best wrestlers around. Come on, it fucking works, doesn't it? Resistance Pro. I've got to go look for it. Maybe you guys are after reading that news story, because at least Billy Corgan invested more time in David Hart Smith than Vince McMahon ever did. Yeah, Vince, I've just stuck it to you again. How'd you like them apples? And I'm going to finish there, guys. It's been a long video, 32 minutes. Fuck! Because again, I keep going on. But apparently you guys like me going on these great rants and great news bulletins, because this is going to continue. In the news brought back by public opinion, I hope you've all enjoyed, because I have missed doing these, more so than Friday Flashbacks. I love doing in the news every week, and it's going to keep happening until the news dries up again. Guys, you know what to do. Subscribe up there, view more videos as well, and also, if you haven't already, add me on Facebook and search CreamCrazyWR on Skype. They'll both be in the description box if you have not done so yet. Plus, also like the video as well if you haven't. And I will also say this, Q&A questions, send them to me via YouTube message or Facebook message or even Skype. Do what you can. Send me all your Q&A questions, and you know what? For the benefit of those out there, I am opening up the question boundaries. The limits are now at 3 per user. Got 3 questions you want to ask me? Got 2? Got 1. I want to make these videos chock-a-block with stuff, because on one weekend it's going to make it a hell of a lot of fun. So guys, remember, add me on Facebook, search CreamCrazyWR on Skype, ask me Q&A questions, subscribe, like, comment, anything you've heard in this entire video that you have seen, you want to comment on, you go right there. There is a box with a typing thing in it. You put your stuff in. And guys, I will see you for my rant on Sunday, which I am very looking forward to, which is how the Royal Rumble pay-per-view can be improved. And that should be a very interesting show. Guys, I've been Cream Crazy. You've been people watching. This has been the glorious return of In the News, the 12th bulletin of which, and I will see you guys at the end of the week. See ya.